On. Welcome back, my friends. We have a special episode of the Denial of the Day podcast with Chris, my claims manager here at Bellator Claims, and me, Taylor Grant. And we want to talk to you about something that is super relevant, maybe a little watered down because so many people are talking about it, but we want to specifically talk about AI and machine learning. Machine learning gets forgotten about, but we'll talk about that here in a second and how that is affecting insurance, if it's health insurance, if it's property insurance, and what we are experiencing within that. Chris, start us off, my brother.
Yeah, it's so crazy, being involved in AI. Obviously, Taylor and I use it a lot, for other things in business and we got really hardcore into it probably about what, a year and a half ago or so,
Yeah,
and seeing where it has evolved now to where it
it's
was
crazy.
back then, it's insane.
Yeah,
And we are noticing that insurance companies are using this already. And, it's kind of like an automated way to kind of, when you bring your claim in, you look at it and it's like, yeah, that could be a good idea, but
right.
there could be some downfalls too. So
Totally.
one of the things that I like about it is the fact that it could detect fraud, because there are people out there that basically just want an extra buck,
Right.
and will do anything to make a claim and just kind of take the money and run. Well, these different systems that they're building and putting in place can actually help and detect that. So that way, if you look
Reduce.
at the overall picture, less fraud means hopefully less premiums because the insurance company's not losing money.
Absolutely.
But there are some things that I feel like would hurt the insured when filing a claim.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's talk about it. So let's go to your point about the fraud. Fraud occurs on both sides. It's been proven, the insurer and the insured. So let's make sure when we talk about the F word, we're talking that both sides do it. And I've been involved on both sides where I'm just like, dude, I'm in the middle. I don't want to be involved in any of this shit. Like, get me out of
uh-huh.
here, right? Because it's a bad situation to be in. But I think you bring up a very good point. If they can detect it and they can reduce that, premiums should come down. Are they going to? I don't know. Insurance companies are in business to make money. That's just a fact, right? So I do like that aspect. I do like that it can really help maybe some desk adjusters do their job better. But I'm going to share with you something from Cigna Health, okay? Allegedly, they have been accused of using their software to deny 300,000 claims in 2 months in 2022. And these are health
Oh,
insurance claims without any human being reviewing the claim itself to determine if it has merit. They used a system, machine learning, okay, that
mhm.
it takes the claim, reviews a bunch of different stuff that they're looking for, and then just spits out a denial. 300,000 of those were issued in a couple months. And allegedly, it was based on this machine learning that didn't actually review any single specific claim for the merits of the claim. They just kicked out denials. And so that's the dark underbelly of what's happening in our industry. Even though that's a health insurance company, we are also starting to see remnants of that maybe poking
Mhm.
its ugly head in the property claim side because we're getting denials and we're just like, what are you talking about? This is obvious hail damage. 1 3/4 inch hail fell at this property. The ephes or the exterior building envelope is obviously damaged from this. Why are you guys denying it outright? Not even opening coverage. And there's been a lot of these things happening over the last 6 to 8 months. We could almost probably go back to like the beginning of this last hail season in Colorado, storm damage,
Mhm.
hail damage, right? That
Yeah.
shows up, and all of a sudden, these legitimate claims that we see as legitimate a year ago, the insurance companies were paying for it, and all of a sudden they're not. The question is why.
That's a really good question. And
Right.
I've heard a lot of things too about, okay, instead of, if you take out the human factor in the insurance world, the human factor being on the other side, as far as like the insurance claims adjuster.
Right.
Um, some of the things I've heard about is doing kind of like an AI based remote assessment. So what we don't struggle with it a lot, but we do, is 9 times out of 10 when we get involved in a claim, we want a reinspection done as soon as possible. We
Right.
want to keep the claim moving forward. And sometimes it's pulling teeth. But we just keep making sure it happens, but that could delay the process because sometimes they'll send out somebody like a third party that has no experience whatsoever, who's not
No
licensed,
authority.
no authority to make any kind of decision. So
Right.
I've heard about them sending out more or less drones and looking for different types of hail damage that could save a lot of time. Great, but
Right.
the other thing about this is that it still could miss things, and AI is kind of biased by whoever programs it.
Yeah.
So
So guess who controls the algorithms on those drones? The insurance company, right? They
exactly.
send those out, and I'll just give you one of my multiple experiences with a drone. Okay, very large national insurer property claim that I went out and I looked at the roof and I'm like, this thing is completely demolished, completely demolished. Stevie Wonder could tell that it was hail damage, right? And I was just like, how the hell did this even get denied? And so,
Mhm.
just like you said, Chris, calling for a reinspect, which is crazy difficult all of a sudden now versus what it was a few years ago, right? Like, obviously, we disagree with your assessment. We want a reinspection. Bring somebody out that has authority, okay? And we get these done because of the verbiage we use and some of the templates that we're going to share with folks regarding how they can win their claim, right? So ultimately, we want you to win your claim, but you have to do it in the right way. So I called for a reinspection. Independent adjuster from Texas shows up, gets up on the roof, looks around for 5 minutes. I could already tell what was going on in his mind. He goes, "Yeah, we're going to pay for this roof."
Whoa, wow,
Yeah, no doubt.
wow.
No doubt whatsoever. He knew within 10 seconds of stepping on that roof that they were going to pay for that based on the hail damage. But their algorithm on their drone was set in a way which they can change, which is totally unfair, right? If you're going to
Hmm.
use a automated system, make it fair, a level playing field for everybody. Nobody can change it. So it begs the question, why are they able to change how strict it is, how big the hail hits have to be, all this other stuff in their software, right? That they flew a drone and instantly denied it. I get up on the roof, knew that it was going to get paid for. Independent adjuster shows up, says, "Hey, we're paying for this roof." No shit, right? And that's where we get frustrated is because these automated versions of their system are not fair. I'm cool with it. Let me see how you guys use it. Let me see the algorithm. Let me see the parameters on how you set it to look at a claim. And if I deem that that's fair, that seems like a human being would look at that for another human being's claim and be fair about it. I'm cool with that, right?
Hmm.
We call it in the industry, we want strikes and balls. If it's strike, call it strike. If it's a ball, call it a ball. But when you say that it's not damage and someone else from your side gets on the roof and instantly is like, we're going to pay for this roof, you know it's not fair. And that's the
Hmm.
concern that I have is these insurance companies who have way more money than you and I do, okay, than probably every single public adjuster combined. They are the ones that are designing the software, that have the engineers for the software, that have the drones, the hardware, and those two things combined can be told to do whatever they want to. Exactly what you were saying, Chris. Who programs the AI and the machine learning is the person that controls the outcome. And if that outcome is fair for both parties, great. Prove it to us. Otherwise, don't be shisty.
Yes, yes. I mean, it's scary and exciting, at the same time,
Yeah,
because I think you and I have talked about this multiple different times just in the past. Going a little bit off topic of just the AI in the insurance world.
right.
It's almost like being a part of the dot-com era when that first came out, the
That's
internet.
right.
It
Totally.
was just like, whoa, what is this? And
Something new.
it, something new, something crazy, and then everyone got into it. And so being able to experience that in our lifetime, something new and as big as this,
Right.
and being a part of it too, kind of like when it first rolled out, is
Yeah.
just, like I said, that's the fun, cool stuff about it, but it can be
Right.
scary too of what we just talked about. So,
Dude, so I have to dive into this and we'll just see how long this goes. It's longer than we expected, but I like it for multiple reasons. Just like you said, ChatGPT came out in November of 2022. I started using it in January of 2023 because I was in this men's program and the guy's like, hey, just so you guys know, this is going to affect how you do business. And if you don't start using it, it's going to put you out of business. And so I've been using this for 2 years almost
Mhm.
to the day probably. And it is insane what it can do, what it can help with, the amount of things that I continue to discover that it can do for me in business, in my personal life, with my kids, with vacations, with meal planning, with
Yeah.
working out and workouts that it can set up. It is so insane, right? That's the beauty of it. The dark
Mhm.
side is what's happening behind the scenes that you and I don't know about.
Mhm.
And governments and big entities, insurance companies, technology companies, let's face it, insurance companies are just becoming technology companies, right? But it is, we are living the future. It is the most amazing thing. It is also very scary. But I continue to tell people that I know, care about, love, and want to protect that if you aren't using it, you are going to be replacing your business.
Yeah, that's scary too.
100%.
Definitely.
Yeah,
You want to stay ahead of the curve as much as you can on this, and it's evolving so quick.
right.
Like, but there's never a bad time to start.
It's
So
true.
start now.
Yeah. So we're in 1997 of the internet right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
People don't even understand. And you and I think there's a lot of people using it, but if you polled 20 of your friends right now, your kids' parents, your kids' friends' parents, and other people in your life, and you ask 20 of them, I bet less than 10% of them are using it on a daily basis for anything more than just like, oh, this is a cool tool, and boy, this is a novel thing, right? I think
Mhm.
that's what most people use it for. You and I, Chris, we're different. We're very early. We're in the top 1% of users, and we
Mhm.
have seen GPT go from it can barely even write a paragraph to this amazing thing that is literally now changing the world and changing the way that people operate in the world with their work, with their personal lives. Like one of the things that GPT can do and Gemini, another one that can do it, it can control your computer. You can tell it,
Mhm.
hey, book me tickets to the Bahamas this date. I want to stay within this price range and give me a hotel for this amount at this time frame. And it will literally take over your computer and you can watch it clicking
Oh
all the
man.
buttons and all the things that it needs to do to basically execute your command. And it is insane and it's crazy. But just like I said, we're in 1997 of the internet. We're at the very, 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 very beginning of this. And the
Mhm.
people that started thinking about the internet in 2002, after the dot-com bust, 2004, 2005, just getting into it, you're going to be a decade behind. But the problem is with AI, its exponential growth is it's not just 10 years behind, you're going to be 50 years behind in 5 years. It's just insane what's
Yeah.
happening. So if nothing else, listen to what we're saying. Trust me,
Yeah.
the curse of my life is that I'm always early.
Uh-huh.
Chris, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen
Oh
this.
yeah.
You and I've known each other forever. I'm just early. I'm not crazy, although people think I am. And I maybe agree with them, right?
I agree a little bit too.
Yeah, totally, right? But we're not crazy, we're early. And so in 1997 of the internet, think about that. We were
Mm.
using Alta Vista as our search engine. Chris, you probably don't even remember that.
I
But
do.
but yeah, just remember that how much it's evolved in the last 20 years. In 20 years from now, AI is going to evolve 200 years.
Hmm.
You heard it from me.
And, and the thing I'll add to that is if I'm someone who's like in a different industry, I'm like, well, I don't even need this in my industry. Why would I even mess around with this? I think I'm safe. Well, first off, I think a lot of us aren't going to be safe with how much this is evolving
Right,
quickly and rapidly. I mean, Taylor and I talked about it. We could be out of a job tomorrow with AI. We just don't know. But it's the unknown that keeps us engaged with it. And the more
right,
we learn with it, the more skills we're going to get, and that's going to propel us into doing whatever we need to do. And so like if you're in a position at a job where you're like, I don't know if this is going to be, if this is right for me, just try it out and start using it. Start with different things, and that's going to go to different things, that's going to go to different things, and you might find something that you might want to actually do and change careers completely just based off of using AI and just
right.
working through it.
Yeah,
So it's a
dude.
fun topic. I know it's a long one, but him and I both agree.
We're gonna keep going because we're not done. Two things. One, the the best thing you can do to overcome the fear of like, oh, it's going to take over and we're going to be living Skynet is just action. Just like you said, Chris, you take action in your industry. And I always say yet, okay? I met with a financial planner and he's like, oh, I'm not concerned about AI. They can't do what I'm doing yet.
Yeah.
I always add that, right? Because if you looked at the progress it's made in 2 years, you would not have guessed this is where it's going to be. 2 years.
Hmm.
Like I said, this is 1997 of the internet. And in 1997, you would not have guessed that this is how much progress AI would have made or the internet would have made in 10 years, which AI will make in 1 year. Right.
That's so
So,
crazy.
right. So the thing is, use it in your industry and see how it can help you. Use it in your personal life. And
Hmm.
the most amazing stuff has come out of me being able to figure out how to use it, how to work with it, how to make it be beneficial for me versus being scared of it. Because the people that are putting their head in the sand are also the people that aren't going to understand how it's going to take their job. Okay. So AI is not going to take your job yet. It's going to be the people that know how to use AI that are going to replace you. Simple as that.
Yeah. Just got to dive into it,
You
like
just
you
got to dive
said.
into it.
And,
But
how much after you've been involved so long, and so have I,
right,
I on a business side and a personal side, it has freed up so much of my time
right,
to where I'm just blown away. Like I used to do this, certain aspects of this job that would take me hours. Now I can do certain things that can take me, 5 minutes.
right.
Things in my personal life, you know, things that, would take me a long time, whether I'm studying something or whatever. It's just now it's just so instant. It's just right there. So for me,
Yeah.
having that more freedom in my life makes the little subscription that I'm paying for so much worth
Yeah.
it.
20 bucks a month. It's worth it. But so this is the thing that the Google machine is not going to like. But I would say in the last 3 months, I've gone from using Google as my source of information to using ChatGPT as my source of information as a search engine.
Mhm.
Okay. So it is my 7 out of 10 go-to where I ask it the information because it'll go and it'll look at Google, it'll look at MSN, it'll look at Bing is their search engine, it'll look
Yeah.
at DuckDuckGo, and it'll go search and find all the information, then bring it all to me, and then give me the 10 sources that it cited to get me the information. And then I can go do the research on like, hey, do I feel like this is true? Do I not? Things like that. But ultimately, like it is the new search engine. It is going to replace Google. It is going to replace all these other things. And so just understand it's not going to replace you yet. So get ahead of the curve to figure out how you can best protect yourself, your family, the people that you love, because it can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. And so Chris and I are the product of it being exciting because we use it every single day. I can't tell you the last day that I haven't used it.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's
It
crazy.
is.
So, personally, professionally, whatever it might be, I just implore you, if you're watching this, especially to this point, you obviously are interested in it. And the best way to just get involved is create a free account, then a paid account, 20 bucks a month. It will save you. So I was just talking to Chris before we started this. It probably saves me 100 times my cost of my membership every single month.
That's amazing.
It's insane. So
Definitely well worth it. So,
bro, we have gone off the deep end. It's amazing. The thing that I want you to know as our listeners, and the tip for you is if you're getting a denial, which you don't think is fair, contact us at Bellator Claims. We'll look at your hail damage. We'll look at your storm damage. We'll look at your damaged insurance claim project and then see what we can do to help you out. The sooner you contact us, the better. BellatorClaims.com. Chris, you get the last word.
yeah, just to kind of end on the AI note, still, when it comes to these types of hail claims, floods, fire here in Colorado, we are obviously the best at it, but boots on the ground. We are professionals. We know what to look for
100%.
versus some of these imagery AI drones. So,
Yeah.
get the professionals out there. That's who we are.
Don't take no for an answer. Contact us today, bellatorclaims.com.